What is up, everybody? It is good to get back in the studio today. We are checking out the Stradivari violin from the Cremona Quartet series, Instruments in Kontakt, Native Instruments Kontakt. And the sound of this instrument is not only incredible, it's almost 300 years old of incredible. And so they recorded this instrument with multiple really high-end microphones and equipment in a huge theater. And so if you open up these mix controls, you have a blend of, in this multi-mic version, for example, you have a blend of close mics, mid or far away mics. You can do some panning and add things like room noise. I personally do want to hear the really far away mics really turned up, so I'm going to jack those up. I just think hearing that decay out into the rooms really special. So you're hearing that theater. And I think the really cool thing is that you can really easily toggle between all these articulations by hitting starting at C1 to D1. And I really, difference between virtuoso, detached, bowed. Not only am I not sure how these things are properly pronounced, but you're just going to have to kind of play through them and then hear what they sound like to understand what these articulations even mean. And so this detached bowed, from what I can understand, is one of the few in here that does allow for multiple notes being played at the same time. And then going over into E1, you have the staccato. And you can see the dynamic range from low to high, and that you can also increase the vibrato. So these are controls that you can click into also with the 3 bars options here. You can click into. If you click on the 3 bars of any articulation, you can also see the articulation menus. So we'll do that over here when we get to none, because that'll be interesting. Let's go back to... that's awesome. That is really awesome. And then Mercado Finger, which is, from what I can tell, a nice sustained articulation, but that also allows for the multiple notes to be played at one time. So nice, and it looks like the mod wheel controls the dynamic range, which is pretty cool. And then you get into also, there's a number of rhythmic options. So that's the sautille. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but a nice rhythmic option there that adds some arpeggiation to the playing. And so you got to think, you know, the guys that recorded this, they recorded all of these notes, they recorded all of these articulations so that we can just have them at our fingertips. So that's the really cool thing about how this instrument is recorded and laid out in terms of its ability to control the playability of this instrument. So then using these notes as a ability to control switching between the articulations, we get over to B1, we have this pizzicato. The same as what we had over here, actually. Just realizing that. So we can actually change this by clicking on the 3 dots right there. And you see, okay, we have some long options. This adaptive option is where that virtuoso one sits. We have a bunch of different short options. What's the staccato? Okay, short stabs. Okay, we've already actually got that on E1. What about the spiccato? Similar. Okay, I'll flip between E1 and B1. That's the normal staccato. And then the spiccato. It adds a little more transient, it sounds like. Just from what I can hear, it adds a little more transient to the front end of the sound. So that's pretty cool. And then let's get over here to C2 and assign this to something just like a basic tremolo. I like these expressive ones because these to me seem like they are the rhythmic ones. They're the ones that have a little movement to the sound. Sweet. And then trill. And so what's actually happening in the trill is it's almost like a tremolo, but it is doing a tremolo not only of the volume, it sounds like, but of a tremolo of the actual notes. And so that there's a pitch change happening there from this note to this note. Or actually, no, it's going to be 2 steps above, actually. It's going to be. So, yep. And so it literally is like I'm playing, you know, this particular note here and 2 steps above that. So maybe not quite, maybe just a bit below, but at any rate, very, very cool sounding. And then ricochet. Just like it sounds like it's bouncing off of, you know, a wall. Very, very interesting. And then there's also some position controls that you can have here, which are smart, depending on the notes that you're playing, or you can actually choose between preferences for high string or low string. So there's all sorts of configurability of these of these options. And I mean, I'm sure I'm only scratching the surface in all of these articulation options, but in general, I mean, some of the rhythmic options and the virtuoso option, probably my favorite, I would have to say. Sounds really good. And yeah, instrument is almost 300 years old, and it's really, really cool that we get to just have the ability to play this at our fingertips and in all of these different ways. So of course, for any orchestral music, any sort of rock music or metal music that needs some string sounds, you know, any genre you can think of, you know, the violin goes great with a lot of stuff. And so we're, of course, hearing this very isolated without any sort of context or any song around it. But, you know, it is a really fantastic sounding instrument. And I can't wait to dig into it even more. Until next time.